Probably shouldn't have taken a bite of an apple right when the intro started, but I did. And I can't have anyone else to blame except myself because I started it. But hungry.
An apple a day.
Hungry. Oh, yeah. A few other things a day now lately. What is it called? Turmeric. This is
turmeric.
Like exacerbate
inflammation.
Turmeric. Yeah. Turmeric curcumin or something. I've been trying that. I had tendinitis issues I'm working on. And oh, man. What a life we all live. Welcome to Staggered Stance. This episode and all episodes, Staggered Stance in general, it's presented by TitanDiscGolf.com. Now, I just remembered something right in this moment that I need to verify because there's a possibility. I'll do it in just a minute here. I have it up on my phone. There's something very special that we might be doing, and I didn't even fill the other hosts in on with TitanDiscGolf.com. So stick around in about... What was it?
Nothing. I'm guessing. You didn't tell me anything. I said, do I need to start hunting all over the website?
Yeah, so let me see here.
Right. You don't have to answer that now.
I'm just asking because it was supposed to be live like 3 or 4 days ago, and we would be the only ones knowing about it until we launch it tonight or today. So I just want to make sure because I haven't touched base today. It's supposed to be, but I haven't touched base today. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt whether it's live or not. I mean, we could say it. So here's the deal. TitanDiscGolf.com. If you go there, there's supposed to be, and I'm confirming right now, there's supposed to be a disc in their 35,000 disc selection that has our logo as the product placeholder, or at least on it. I haven't even seen this yet. If you find that product, it's a disc, is my understanding. If you find that disc that has our logo on it, you're going to laugh. Buy it, because then you're going to get, and again, I have to double confirm this. You're going to get like a $35 gift card in return. So it's kind of like a buy one, get one free kind of a thing. But if you find it, you can get whatever you want, right? With that $35. It's a gift card. You don't have to get a disc. So that's how I understand it to be. So I guess at this point until I hear confirmation, just keep scrolling and like.
That's what I'm doing right now. If you see my eyes off the screen, I'm looking for it, but you know.
It's like an Easter egg hunt at TitanDiscGolf.com. And if you're listening to this on Tuesday, don't lose heart. Because my understanding is they're going to be putting these up maybe 2 or 3 more times this week. Different random times. So let's say you miss it. And I don't even know if it's going to be found tonight. So the point is, though, there's going to be more that pop up throughout the week. So even if it is found, there'll be more. So go to TitanDiscGolf.com and you're going to get a gift card in return for purchasing the product placeholders. I haven't seen this. I just know it's supposed to be. The product placeholder should have Staggered Stance logo. It's either on the disc or it's transparently overlaid, or it's just our logo, but you look for our logo. And again, buy it. There's no code. I mean, you could use our code Staggered Stance, but there's no code to get it free. You buy it and then they will reach out to you. Now, there's one more thing that goes along with this. When you buy it, you have to put in your email. As in when you're checking out, you know how it will be hey, phone number, email, optional kind of a thing. It's not optional if you want the gift card because they won't be able to contact you. I guess they could send you something in snail mail, but fill it out, put your email in there, and they will respond to you with a gift card at equal or more value. So it's, again, that's pretty cool. So I'm waiting to hear officially that it's there, so we're not looking in vain, but it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be multiple times this week. So we'll touch base.
Now I'm...
You're deep into it now?
The rest of the show, yeah. I'm like...
What if it's
I'm not going to tell everybody my tips and tricks, but I was
just going to say, what if it's buried inside of
what if it's a color variation, a color weight variation?
It's possible.
Anyway,
it's possible. Maybe not. Fun. I don't know. But it's realistically, it's free. It's free in the sense you buy it and then you get a gift card for equal or more value. So it's a buy one, get one free kind of a thing. Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of crazy. Besides that, obviously you can just shop there all the time for anything. Competitive pricing. They're going to take care of you. Awesome. Thank you, TitanDiscGolf.com. Josh, what is the Best way to grow grass seed on soil that is not lovely.
I thought I would have been the one like years ago to figure this out, but I am still chasing that. And I know there's like all the right science, and I've just put too much money into my lawn. And I'm convinced there's lots of techniques, but having really good soil is the key. And I feel like I'm always just like half a step behind. So like I have grass, but it dries out in spots. And I also don't have a sprinkler system. That would also help.
That's funny you said that at the end. I don't have a way to water. I asked that because right prior to this, I said, life is awesome. Before I purchased the house I'm in now, there was a septic. For those who don't have, I don't know, septic's a universal thing. Not always. You have sewer you're hooked up to.
Yeah, town sewer is common.
But anyways, so
houses.
Septic, they pulled a permit. Then the town required, it's a conservation thing, town required that grass seed would be grown or vegetation so it can't erode. I feel good with the soil. I mean, I feel good with the vegetation, but they came out today and said, nope, reseed the whole thing and call us back when you've mowed it and it's really beautiful. And I'm like, okay, so drop your favorite grass growing tips. I already did this on social media and I have some listeners who gave some good advice. I guess a silt, or is it a silt seeder or something like that?
No, probably slit because it's like slices into the ground and implants the seed.
Yes, that and aeration and so we'll see. And water. It said something, if you don't water, it dies.
That is true. So that's a bummer for you just because it extends the project. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, that's just random. But we do have a lot to talk about tonight. We've got Doug Bjerkes, Executive Director of the PDGA, joining to talk about things, lately news and all that. And then Sean Jack, my understanding is he operating as TD of the Champions Cup. It's not OTB Open, right? It's Champions Cup. So I'm pretty sure that's how that's working. And he's on staff at Disc Golf Pro Tour. So we'll be talking to him about a few things as well. So interesting, kind of an off week. We're prepping for President's Cup, Champions Cup. We're going to have PD out, pop, drop, lock picks, and more. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got, I don't know how it's going to work, but Ben's driving down the road in his RV. Whoa, major reverb.
Hey! How's everyone doing?
He reminds me of that social media clip I sent you guys where he goes, hi, Josh.
Dude, I'm doing my best Ricky Wysocki right now. I'm in Salt Lake, 10 hours from Stockton. I'm sorry I can't make the show, but rest assured my PC will be set up next week and I'll be back on the show. It's just, I'm on a time crunch.
All right, I'm muting you for a minute. I saw your brother at League tonight, Sam. He showed up and he said it's crazy what Ben's doing, and he said I bet Livia's driving, but no, you're driving.
I'm doing most of the driving, as you can see. Very beautiful though.
All right.
Very beautiful driving.
This is cool to have you check in, but yeah, major reverb. I'm gonna have to drop you.
I'll head out. I'll see you guys later.
Hey, thanks for tuning in.
Wow, was that loud for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I'm trying to mute it when he's not talking. So hopefully our listeners. That's Ben. That's Ben joining in. There you go, everyone. Put a smile on your face. Nick also just joined.
Hello.
What's up, Nick?
What up?
I was just asking Josh. You probably heard grass growing secrets.
I did.
So we'll see.
We so my parents redid their whole yard, our backyard and now front yard, but they did the whole shebang of re-excavated everything, leveled it out, planted really, really nice grass. I had a company come out and do everything.
I'm going to do that. Maybe that's what I need to do.
My dad did the whole sprinkler system where we had 4, 5, 6 sprinklers set up and it would all periodically go off at different times or whatever. But anyways, it came out awesome. So if you see my dad, just ask him.
All right.
He might know.
Sprinkler system's the trick, but yeah,
it definitely.
So Nick, I'm playing in A tier this weekend coming. Best recommendations. You just got second at is it a B tier?
I did. Yeah, I got second at a
Good
B tier.
job. Welcome back to the pro scene in New England.
It felt good to play again.
Best tips for me.
Practice your putting this week in the sense of literally don't go outside of 20 feet. Just get that repetition down. Other than that, get in a practice round or two and then just know what you're going to throw off the tee pad And then it's dependent on what the wind is looking like throughout the weekend. But for the most part, feel confident that if it's a perfectly calm day, you know exactly what you're going to throw off the tee pad. You could tell me the day before that on hole 2 at Cogs, you're going to throw this disc. And that's how I like to go into tournaments, is to have a pretty confident game plan and just make sure the putting's feeling good. That's, your biggest. The most annoying thing I think for people they get upset about is when they're missing putts in tournaments, whether it's for birdie or for par or even bogey. And I have always told this to people that putting is the easiest thing to practice. So yeah, if you can, just get your putting in.
Yeah, I will say, and this is not a cocky, arrogant thing, but putting's not really my problem.
Yeah.
For some reason, It's like throwing, and I've been trying to work on that. And the problem is you're working on it. Your game doesn't go as well because you're in the middle of, like, if you want to call it like a swing change, like it's.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll see. I've played these
one
courses.
step back to take 2 steps forward.
Exactly. Cogs and Meadowbrook on repeat tee times.
We'll
see
go
how
up for
it
a
goes.
practice round this week.
Yeah, we'll see. Dude, my life is
Work,
insane.
yeah.
But
I feel that.
you feel that, but we make time to talk disc golf at least once a week. Cool. Well, besides the interview coming on here in about 8 minutes with Doug, and I'm assuming Ben lined that all up somehow, some way on the road.
We'll blame it on him if it does.
Josh, what are we talking about next?
Well, I mean, I think we are focused on the majors. We also have the President's Cup. We'll talk with Doug about the New Worlds announcement. But let's just stuff in a little event. We almost always only cover Elite Series. But how about a little throwback this past weekend, which doesn't get nearly the same fanfare, nearly the same registration, but Glass Blown Open? Just thought I'd mention that because anybody in the sport for long enough, that kind of morphed to be the Dynamic Discs Open, which right now is not even on the tour. And so they've rehashed the Glass Blown Open. So I think we'll see some kind of coverage, but again, nowhere near the same level, but just kind of maybe a throwback nostalgia. And they had both pro and am divisions. And Matt, TitanDiscGolf.com
He was gonna be
owner.
my first shout out.
Yeah, he won his division.
Yeah, I saw
40.
that. He had to overcome 5-stroke deficit. Good job to him. That's the division I'm thinking I'm going to dabble in, MA 40. I think that's where I belong, kind of. I would have done it at this A tier coming up this weekend, but because my son Hunter's playing, I didn't feel like doing alternate courses. Like, I'm already bringing him around. Like, I'm just going to play the MA1. That's where he plays. That's what I'm going to do. So,
very cool. Yeah, and there were a couple other, names out there that you might recognize. Like I said, again, not really. I mean, it's a solid A tier field, but not really even a big one. But you see, like Parker Welk taking a swing at it, who won the Dynamic Discs Open, but again came in second. And was outshot we lost by 1 stroke. It was outshot by 4 strokes in the last round. So bummer for him. But Zachary Nash, who is a name that we've heard. I don't think is he touring out there? I mean, I know the name, but
I think he does kind of like a half tour, but I think he's on the West Coast. So but I'm pretty sure we've had him on the show before. So great player, right? Matt, am I mistaken to say that?
no.
I think we have.
I don't know. I don't remember.
No, actually, I don't
Zach
think it
Nash.
was when I was on the show.
Was it Zach Nash or was it? Am I thinking Connor or something? I don't know. Anyways, he won. Who won Vegas Challenge last year? When Las Vegas Challenge, when they beat Gannon Burr, and then we had whoever that was on the show.
Tristan
I'm
Taylor?
drawing such a blank. No, it wasn't Tristan. I have to go back and look at it.
Well,
I'm actually going to try to. I'm going to try to grab a light really quick, see if I can brighten up. My
See if
screen.
see if the
I'll
light
be
bulb
right
will
back.
help you remember.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Real
That's
time
the way to
studio
go.
enhancements.
Yeah. Anyway, but other names we recognize, like Joel Freeman, who used to kind of perennially be at the top, came in 4th. Again, I'm not really running down the whole Glass Blown Open, but just thought I'd mention that. As
By
kind
the
of a
way,
buffer in
Glass Blown Open. There is no current Dynamic Discs Open, right? Like,
no, because it's off the tour, so there is no
Right.
DDO. They've
so
reprised
why
the
did
Glass
they
Blown
go
Open.
back to Glass Blown Open? Was it a marketing thing? Like, obviously it brings back good vibes. It's all that. Like,
Yeah,
they're
I
like,
think
because we're
that's
not on
part of
tour,
it,
we're
yeah.
not calling it that. Like, would they call it Glass Blown Open again if they come back?
All good questions.
I don't know what Nick,
So
Nick might. Nick, I don't know. Nick doesn't.
It would be speculation, but I feel like I've heard some of it discussed, and I do feel like it's just a little bit of reprising the nostalgia of that event. There's obviously been a lot of changes with that company and the leadership over the last several years. On course champions, what do they call it? What's the name of the place?
Champions Landing.
Champions Landing.
Champions Landing. Thank you. So I think there's been a lot of changes, and I think there was just some extent of like, let's reprise the Glass Blown Open, literally because of the name and the nostalgia and the trophies. Matt, that's my understanding, but I don't know if I've officially heard anybody elaborate. Like when you're saying, would they bring that back on tour? I have no idea. But.
Yeah, just by name, Nick. By name, it went to Dynamic Disc Open. It kind of felt like momentum lost kind of a thing. I didn't know if they were going to bring it back.
I feel that. I think one of the biggest things that they kind of lost momentum on was when the Elite Series events came into town, it changed it from when the Glass Blown Open would go on, they would also have the AM side for the Glass Blown Open going on. Mm-hmm. So I remember one of the years where they kind of shut down the AM side aspect of it. So, kind of hoping that all the AMs would come and spectate, right? But it's so many people travel out to Emporia for the Glass Blown Open that when it became the Elite Series event, they didn't get as many spectators as they thought they would. And then it kind of, killed the momentum that they had going on in a sense. So then years after, it just, people would say it didn't feel like the same like it used to be. And, but, who knows? Maybe they're on the up and up now. So yeah, I've had the pleasure of playing out there once. It was, it's not my cup of tea. It's not my style of course to play, but I did want to go out at least once. I went out for 2022 Worlds, got to play Jones, and now Champions Landing. I think back then it was just Emporia Country Club.
Well, we actually have, Josh, in the green room, someone who used to run the Glass Blown Open.
It was funny you were just going to say.
Can we bring him in real quick without an official intro? Let's do it.
Yeah, of course.
Let's see. I didn't ask him if the audio is good, but hopefully it's good. Let's see. Nick, we'll do guest, myself, Josh. Let's get into it. Pull it in. Come on now. Welcome to the show, Doug. Can you hear us okay? And we can't hear you. That's what I was concerned with. Do a either if you know a quick fix on your end or go out and come back. We've done that a few times.
Yeah,
just double check. Yeah, close out, try that link again. We see him, everybody. Our audio listeners, we can see him, and either he's gone mute or he is muted. I hate when that happens. I've been like trying to do that. Hey, can you hear us? Like double check before we bring him on because it's awkward to do this. And of course, the time I don't. Let's see if that gets fixed.
Well, I'd say he should be able to join pretty quick and hopefully.
Okay, he just rejoined. Let's see.
All right.
Go ahead, Doug. Yes.
Ooh,
perfect.
yeah,
okay, now I'm going to unmute you. Perfect. So it was going to be like one of those like informal welcome. We're going to be talking about Glass Blown, just kind of coming out of it. We know that you ran it, and then it's like you're just moving your lips. So welcome to the show, first of all. Second of all, this is not even your role anymore. Were you a part of when it went from Glass Blown Open to something else? I don't remember that.
Yeah, so it had been Glass Blown Open got canceled in 20, I believe, or 19.
Like COVID or
COVID.
Okay.
And what happened is then we were so we canceled that event, and then like 2 months later, the Pro Tour approached us to be like the first event coming back.
Okay.
And I can remember us debating over, well, is this going to be a Glass Blown Open, which is kind of a festival, it's from back in the heyday, 1,600 people would show up to play. And,
right.
And so we knew that the DGPT event was going to be just the MPO and FPO. And in fact, we did a big skins match with that event. And I don't know if you remember, it was one of the first CBS Sports productions that went on.
We have an episode on that.
Yeah. So we did that. And no spectators because of COVID. And then the thought was, hey, Dynamic Discs Open, as far as marketing with everything that happened during COVID, Glass Blown Open is not directly connected maybe to a product line and things like that. So we thought, hey, well, let's keep calling it the Dynamic Discs Open, which was good for getting more of the brand name out.
Right.
And Nick nailed it when he mentioned that there was 1 year, and I may or may not have been on the side of, yes, we should just see if we can get the spectators here. And we did not. Now for a Pro Worlds, we had 2,500 spectators, I think, for Pro Worlds in 22. People will travel for a world championship probably not for just a DGPT event in Emporia. So I think having that AM side is really important, and it's just kind of returning to the roots. With everything that's going on, new ownership, all of that. I think it kind of gave. I followed it on social media, and it had the makings of what we had built there. 8-10 years ago. So. Yeah, it's good to see that name back, and good to see those trophies. I still think they're some of the best trophies in disc golf.
Yeah.
I saw one of the winners of the AM division post and say, "This is the best trophy I've ever received." And so that's awesome.
I would agree. I think they're coveted. They look wonderful. So thank you for that history, that background there. Even though you didn't know you were gonna, I was like, the guy himself is in the green room. I'm like, let's talk to him about it.
Well, it was funny, right? Yeah, because that wasn't literally that wasn't even a topic. We were filling time, and I think it's interesting because you talked about back to the roots. The reason I even brought it up as we were transitioning to your interview, even before you were there, is like there's the nostalgia aspect of that. And sometimes, like, you always remember the good old days, right? And it's like, sometimes you can never get them back, which is okay. And sometimes you just need to reminisce and remember, like, disc golf has a fun history. And that was like, I live in New Hampshire, and it was like the talk of the town whenever, like, it's like, who's traveling to GBO? And it's mostly AMs. But a really cool history, and you were a big part of that. So that's kind of fun.
And we did a lot of cool things there. The Win Your Card prize was always really special. The Stamp Your Own Disc, the block party, where we'd close down Commercial Street.
Yeah,
that was all pretty exciting. One of the things though is we just ran into, after like 16, 17, 18, we were setting the record for the largest single site tournament, and
I remember all that.
There weren't enough hotels. I mean, no one wants to go to Emporia and stay in Topeka and drive 50 minutes to get to the course. I think Eagle McMahon, the year that he had the Eagle on hole 14 at what used to be the Country Club, now Champions Landing, I think he was commuting to the event from Topeka. So
it's crazy.
It's just, I always have told Nate Heinold, I said, man, I wish we had all the hotels you have in Peoria in Emporia. So, but anyways.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. And there's a lot of history. Maybe one day we'll go into a history podcast and you'll be a big part of that.
Okay.
So probably the bigger reason we have you on is your role as the executive director. So like, I don't know if I have it exactly right. Of the PDGA, by the way, for anybody not seeing your hat, I'm going to make that clear. That's what you're directing. I think you've been there a little over a year, maybe 15 months or something, right? It was the beginning of last year. As far as this role.
In this role, I actually left DD. Never start your first day of a job on April 1st, but I started on April 1st at the PDGA in 2013. So I've just passed 2 years, but in the role
2023, right? You said 2013.
2023. That is correct. And so I've been there for about 25 months, but in the role as the executive director, that started in January of last year. So
it's like 15
months or so. Yep.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk about like some of the majors and some of the recent announcements, but it's like, so in 15 months, and again, you've been in the PDGA for about 2 years. I'm just curious, like this is kind of open, but like what met your expectations in the role? And I know that's broad, but just meaning like, you're like, oh, this is what I expected. Right. And then maybe what's something that like stands out that was different than expected. Maybe it surprised you. Maybe it was a challenge you didn't foresee, or maybe it was something incredibly awesome that you just didn't really understand was part of the role. More or less just looking for your insights now that you've been there 15 months.
Yeah. So, I wasn't expecting to be inheriting a PDGA, which lost money for the first time. In 2023, we lost money. And of course, everyone can point to the pandemic and everything is, kind of this artificial explosion that we had. But I think having been a member of the PDGA for, 25 years or whatever, almost 30, and seeing, especially when I worked at Dynamic, when you just saw that slow, steady 10, 12, 15% growth every year just happening, regardless of what we would do, the sport was just growing. It was that grassroots type growth. But I think coming in and coming into probably one of the tougher times in disc golf history, coming out of the, as I say, and you've heard me say it probably on this show, the drunken stupor of the pandemic into the hangover. That was kind of a wake up call, because I realized that, hey, it's just not gonna, we're not gonna just grow by default. We've really got to start doing some things, especially with such a large number of members not returning because they were going back to the things they wanted to do. So that was a bit a bit of a wake up call for me. But I think the most exciting thing is, when I was at Dynamic, we were definitely trying to do a lot of cool things for disc golf. But at the end of the day, my scorecard was how many discs sold, how many
Sure.
baskets sold, how many bags sold, et cetera. And at the PDGA, we're not so much as interested in selling stuff as we are increasing the quality of the tournament experience, which is why people join the PDGA. So, but it's, there's a lot of cool things happening, and I wouldn't trade my job for anything right now. It's these are important times for disc golf, especially as it grows globally, which I'm sure is going to be discussed
Yep.
here in a little bit.
For sure.
And to think that the PDGA that we have right now, while 75% of our members are still in the United States, 25% are not. That means 1 out of every 4 disc golfers that is out there throwing frisbees in sanctioned events is not a U.S. citizen, and that's exciting to be part of a game that is growing like that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we're just about to talk about all the European stuff, including Worlds this year, right? Never mind the
Yep.
announcement in future years. So I'm just curious. So did the slowdown, you called it the hangover, did that cause you to like shift any priorities, or was it really more just a downgrading of investment and resources? Like, did you actually change what you were focused on, or did you just technically have to, spend less?
Yeah, well, both.
Yeah, okay.
Our operating budget went from closer to $11 million in 2024 down to $10 million this year, as we've kind of tightened the belt a little bit. Obviously, there was some big news last October when
Yep.
we reshuffled the way that we did membership. One of the things that I'm really focused on is that we govern and promote. We govern the rules of disc golf, obviously, and we promote the sport. There are tons of people out there selling stuff, and I think the PDGA for many years focused on the stuff that we would get made and then give it to new members or sell it to returning members, and so on and so forth. We completely shifted away from that model, and that's really helped us continue to do all of the things that we're doing with with like the Marco Polo grant, supporting things like the Paul Macbeth Foundation. We're able to still do some of those things and help actually push the sport, because we're not spending a lot of money on that stuff anymore. So that was a big win for us. I know there's a lot of people that miss their free disc and all that kind of stuff, but I have not talked to a single member who decided to, when they initially joined the PDGA, it was to get a cool disc that had the PDGA on it. It was so they could play C tiers and B tiers and A tiers and leagues and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Well, tightening the belt will kind of force you to look at what your priorities are. So
That's right.
Thank you for your leadership there. So,
Yep.
so Worlds this year is in Europe, and like what I'm hearing is it is going to be huge. Are you expecting this to set a new bar for Worlds?
Oh yeah, and I think specifically with the World Championships, if your World Championship isn't the best one ever when you run it, you're probably not keeping up. And I think we can say that Lynchburg was unbelievable last year. Smuggler's Notch the year before, it was fantastic, and we keep pushing the envelope. This year is going to be something spectacular. I've had several meetings with UC. I know that Phil Delone and the whole O&L team have been working with them. I'm fortunate I'm going to actually see UC probably as early as tomorrow night. I'm heading out to California early tomorrow morning.
The President's Cup captain, right?
Yeah, and I can't wait to catch up with him on the things that's going on. He has a nervous excitement about the number of spectators that can show up. For those that are watching your show that don't know this, the Beast in Nokia, just because of local law and things like that, you can't just close it down from the public. So spectating, which has always been huge in Nokia, a big part of that is because it's free. But the amount of energy he's put into getting both courses ready with VIP spectators, with things like that. It's hard to tell what the most amount of spectators we've had at a tournament have been in history. I think it's probably somewhere around 5K.
All right.
And I am 100% confident we will blow that number out of the water. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it tempted me to travel out there, and I'm not. But like, it sounds like it's going to be incredible. And and like you said, each world's right. You got to keep up, right? It's got to be better than the last, because that's the pace and the expectations. And so I find it interesting because you just announced, not you, but the PDGA. Obviously, you were part of that. Is choosing a worlds that's 4 years away from now, and I want to get to this, but like obviously that allows a lot more time and investment to really ramp up. So just for clarity for everybody, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Team Disc Golf Estonia, so in Estonia, will host the 2029 World Championships, and there's some other majors also mixed in there between now and then. But yeah, maybe just tell us a little bit more first about just, did I get that announcement right? And what does it mean for the PDGA to make this selection this far out?
Yeah, so you did. You got it. Not all the details specifically, but the 29 Professional World Championships is awarded to Tallinn and Estonia and that team. They are already kind of running a major this summer to replace the European Open, which is obviously is not going to be run while UC's doing the World Championships. We were kind of in a little bit of a tough spot. UC is unable to run. UC had a long-term contract to run the European Open, and in fact, 26 was the final year of the contract. And if a World Championship were to be awarded, we would tack on. 25 was when the contract was due to end. He had one more year on it, and with the things that are going on in Nokia with the swimming pool construction and all that, he couldn't run it. So we were kind of in a situation where we need to find a major for 26. And we got this news after the bid window had opened up. And by the way, we've never put a European major out for bid. It's always been kind of an assignment. We assign, and if you look at the history of European majors, there's been a ton of them. Different, Stockholm, European Masters, this summer, the European Disc Golf Festival. So we had to find a major for 26, and we had to find it in a hurry because we kind of got a late notice that it wasn't going to be in not a late notice, plenty of time to get things figured out, but it wasn't going to be in Nokia. So we started to talk to Estonia, which was the recommendation from UC. And UC, arguably one of the best TDs we've seen in the history of our sport. And if he's going to endorse somebody, and he's been really impressed with the Estonian group, so he suggested we go there. We started talking about their model. The country of Estonia is so behind disc golf. It's different than anything I've ever seen as far as the numbers go and just everything they push towards that event. So they started talking about an opportunity to host Worlds, and they had bid on Worlds. And this is something that a lot of people may not know, because we don't go and publish all the bids that didn't get selected. But as we mentioned, as we announced a couple 3 months ago, Worlds in 26 going to Michigan with the DGLO course, and then the course that's in right next to it. Then in 27. We're going to Portland. That, by the way, was a change that we incorporated this past year, where we said, "Hey, let's get further out in front of these majors. Let's get out an extra year." So we awarded those two, and Estonia had a really nice bid too. But I had a hard time, and our team had a hard time saying, "Okay, we're going to Europe in 25. Let's turn around and go back in 26 or 27." I would argue that if the U.S. makes 75% of the disc golfers that are out there, probably 3 out of every 4 Worlds should be in the United States, just based on the economy and not the economy, based on where people are and where they can travel and so on and so forth. So we had always kind of thought, let's go back to Europe in 4 or 5 years. They put in that bid, which we declined for 26 and 27, not because it wasn't a good bid, but because we didn't think it was a good idea to go back. Negotiations started. We started looking at different options. Their government was way behind this, especially if they could bring a world championship to Estonia. And we cut this deal with them to kind of get them a world championship. It also kind of settles things down. A lot of people were thinking, hey, we're going to Estonia for Finland for Worlds in 25. We actually had 4 different bids from Europe, from outside of the United States for majors. We weren't able to really get a good fit for any of them, and we wanted to continue sending a good message, especially with our colleagues over at PDGA Europe, that we know that Europe is a hotbed for disc golf, and we've got to get over there when we can, and we've got to do it at a cadence which is fair. And it just made perfect sense that 29 would be a good year to do that.
Yeah, so with that run up, and obviously, again, specific to Estonia, I think they were also awarded the European major for 26 and 2028.
26 and 28, that's correct.
Right.
Similar to what we did with UC. For those that don't know, we had a multi-year contract with UC for running the major.
Yep.
And again, it's a little different. Now, Worlds, we went outside of the normal process to award this Worlds. But the European majors, this is similar to what's been going on. And I'd really like to see, and I've been working with the PDGA Europe crew, them to have more of an ownership stake in where that European major is every year. So, exciting times. I if I look back 20 years ago, 25 years ago when I started playing, to think that we'd have this much of a global footprint where we're running majors, all over the world, that's a good, healthy sign for the sport.
Yeah. So not only you're running it around the world, but everybody seems excited about it, right? Meaning we're talking about it ramping up, and to have a whole country behind that. Yeah. I got a kick out of reading, I think, the press release, and it talked about, they obviously have years to figure this out, literally, but like what's another course they're going to use. And one of the options is like something like the president's like property.
Yeah.
And I'm like, talk about having a country behind it when they're like, oh, you could use my place.
Yeah. It'd be a good place to have the President's Cup.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
Anyways,
That's funny.
Which, by the way, they will be hosting next year, because in the even years, it'll go back to wherever the major is in Europe. So excited about that. You probably saw that for the first time ever, a female captain of a squad has been named. Kristen will be the captain of the European squad for 2026. So that's exciting. Yeah, we had a chance to walk the property on the president's at the president's palace, or I don't know if it's palace or castle or whatever.
I don't know.
In fact, I just had a conversation with some of the PDGA folks that are going to be on the ground there this summer, as well as some of the DGPT folks, to go and do some signal testing at both locations that they're considering, so that we can have that data as well as we figure out what the next steps are there. But I am 100% confident with the support that team over there has, Silver, Matthias, and Ralph, that they are going to, it will be special. It will be very special. And if you watch any of the footage from the more recent Estonia events that they have done, they put on quite a show. Courses are going to need some work, and they're going to need to get that second course going. And that's also part of the plan. When you have a commitment over a series of years, it's a little easy to invest in a second course and get it done 2 or 3 years early, so it can get beat in a little bit and be ready for the World Championship.
Yeah. No, exactly. That makes sense. I mean, the longer you have to invest, or the longer you have to plan, the more you can invest, and the risk is less. So
that's right.
And obviously having the country behind it is obviously incredible as well. So you mentioned not standard protocol specific to the Worlds, right? Like
the Worlds.
Yep. That makes sense. The announcement said you're back to obviously receiving bids for 2028 Worlds, but is there any rumbling, or are you thinking about doing this different at all in future years to try to allow a longer runway, or is this truly a one-off from your perspective?
Our bid cycle for 28 will open up on June 1st.
Yep.
It'll be here before we know it. Bids will be accepted all the way till October 1st. And over the winter, with an announcement in January or so, we will be awarding the 28 World Championship based on our normal bid cycle.
Yep.
And I think it's a wait and see on what we do moving forward. Like I said, we're now giving a host of a major 30 months lead time to get things going. For Estonia, it's 54, 60 months or whatever it is. It's a lot more months. We might negotiate with folks that want to be world championship sites to put them on kind of a path that says, hey, let's run a, just the plan is for Estonia to also be a DGPT plus event using both courses in 27. So
they're off year, quote unquote.
That's right. So, but all of that is what a great way to get a track record at a course going into a world championship. So, as many people know, though, and a lot of people have called me and talked to me and go, that was kind of weird. You did this, blah, blah, blah. And I said, where could worlds be? Like who could run worlds and where could they run it? And it's not a standard Elite Series event where one course will do it. You need the two courses. And that list is kind of short. There was probably a 10-year stretch where, with the exception of one world championship, either the PDGA, myself and Dynamic Discs, Jeff Spring or Nate Heinold ran world championships. And we used to have to call. I can remember getting phone calls from the PDGA when I worked at DD. Hey, is there a way you can run a major? We didn't get enough bids in, or whatever it might be. And there's always been a little bit of negotiation with the PDGA and our hosts. For instance, when I was at Dynamic Discs, they needed somebody to run. I forget which event it was, maybe Masters Worlds or something like that. And we didn't really put a bid in for it. And we said, well, hey, we would do the Masters Worlds if you can also give us another Junior Worlds.
Right. Yeah.
And so there's, it's not like we have a code that we follow that if we go outside of the bounds of that, we're breaking the law or anything like that. There's kind of been the Champions Cup is another example of this. Right. If you think about it, Champions Cup was supposed to be at IDGC every single year. We have not put it out for bid because we thought the IDGC would be ready to go after the pine beetle incident. Then the hurricane came, and we thought it would be ready. And it's one of those deals where, I'd love to be able to say, everything's for bid, and every single major that we ever host has been bid on. But sometimes necessity forces you to get a little creative.
Right. Yeah. Of course, literally the only response I heard that was even on the flip side was, I think, out of Des Moines, probably tied to that, was like they were targeting 2029 because I think it was 25 years since Des Moines. I have no idea. I'm sure he understands what you're navigating, but I guess there always are those.
Yeah, and actually that day that it was announced, Ty and I spent about 15 minutes on the phone when I found out he was planning on.
Because it's hard to know who's planning ahead when the bid process isn't even open, right?
That's right. But I would tell everyone that's listening to this show, think outside the box. If you've got a club or a city or an entity that is interested in hosting a major, take a look at those bid packages. And if we need to get creative to get you built up and give you a runway to get to where you can get to your end goal, we sometimes do get major bids from TDs that have never even run a C tier. That doesn't necessarily work, but if you got to start somewhere, and all right.
Well, 2050, I'll start talking to you about my bid. I'll be retired, so then I'll have time to run a Worlds, Doug.
Hey,
so there we go.
I would love to be there. I think that might be outside of my expiration date, though.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. But anyway, that's great. So anything else on Worlds? I'm going to move on just to one or two other topics. We've already had you for quite a bit. But
Nope. I can't wait. I think there'll be a lot of eyeballs watching things in Finland this summer for sure. Yeah, it is going to be special. And then right after that, you got the World Games in Chengdu, China. So that's another thing people can keep their eyes on.
Yep. We've talked about that some on the show, about always kind of interesting, like which things get people's attention and which don't, and kind of the evolution of the World Games. I think we've talked about it some, and I'm sure when it sneaks up, we'll talk about it again.
Yep.
So you already kind of just mentioned, so we're not going to go at too much. So President's Cup, you're flying out there. You said you're going to see that competition here. I think on Wednesdays when it starts, right? So 2 days from now.
It's Wednesday. I head out there. It's first FPO MPO major of the year, so I try to get out
Yep.
there for that. Really excited about what Sean Mercy, Andy
Yep.
Rothschild, that whole team out there. They do just a great job with their OTB event, and I've already had some phone conversations with some of the staff that is already in Stockton, and they're saying it's just super smooth. But yeah, President's Cup on Wednesday, Europe versus the U.S., and then of course the 4 days of the major, the Champions Cup itself, Thursday through Sunday. We're really setting up for some exciting golf.
Yeah, for sure. So you just kind of confirmed too a moment ago. So obviously WR Jackson has just had, it's been through the ringer. And so Champions Cup, we know where it is this year. And then Lynchburg the year after that. Just any updates from the course? Just those
Bring
wondering.
it back.
Yeah, hey, we want it back. Some good news. I am happy to announce that the Wildwood Park, which is where the IDGC sits in Appling, Georgia, is managed by Columbia County, which is the county that we're in here on this side of Augusta. It's split between two counties, but it's actually owned by the Army Corps of Engineers. So we have to work with the Army Corps of Engineers. They have everyone's given us a sweetheart deal to be there. I mean, what we pay to have that facility in those three courses is people would be shocked to hear what we end up paying each month to be out there. But we were this close after the pine beetle infestation. The guys had just cleaned things up. We were about to open up two of the courses for people to play, and then Hurricane Helene happened. And I firsthand, I had a tree that fell on my house. In fact, the hurricane was back in last fall.
I remember seeing a picture, I think.
Yeah, and the amount of time. I mean, I have people at the house now working on the house. Finally,
Wow.
7-8 months later.
Okay.
The Army Corps of Engineers, though, did sign a contract with a logging company to come out and clear all of the dead trees, all of the trees that might be close to falling over, and we're waiting with bated breath for them to start that project, because once they finish that project, we can then see what we have to work with.
Yep.
I will tell you, for those that have been down there and enjoyed those three courses, it's very likely that it's just a clean slate.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a little bit unfortunate, but Mother Nature is like 3,000 rated. You just can't get close to competing. So
3,000 rated.
Yeah, maybe more like 30,000 rated, but
unbeatable.
Yep.
Well,
With stats like
we
that,
can open it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Open it
with
back
stats
up
like
any
that,
day.
we need Evan Kearns back on the show. He comes back on every
Yep.
now and then. Fun fact, and I'm going to throw him under the bus a little bit, Evan. He calls
come
me up just like you used to do, Josh. He calls me up. He's like, man, I got some points on this or that. And he has to get them out. And it was awesome. We had a good conversation the other day. I was at an airport terminal. Give that guy a raise. And now he's going to be blushing. He's going to be blushing now. He's going to be like, why'd you tell Doug that? So anyways, messing around. It's always good to have you on, Doug. It feels like I don't know, maybe this is weird to say, old friend. I feel like back in the day when I'd bring my kid out to the original Junior Worlds and just like, what's up, Doug? And now like I see you around. It's just old friend, and I love it. It's awesome to see what you're doing there for sure.
Yep. Well, hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. So have you been out playing disc golf recently?
I have been. I played in the local ice bowl here, which was quite a good time.
Wait, the ice bowl are you living in Georgia?
They
have ice down there?
No.
Sorry to cut you off.
They do in cold drinks, thank God.
Okay.
The ice
Just
bowl,
making sure.
they give you a bowl of ice.
Yeah, hey, the ice bowl is an outstanding event for those of you that don't know about it. I mean,
Yes.
it raises all kinds of food and money and things like that. So while it's called an ice bowl in Augusta, Georgia, I played in shorts, and there was the only ice was in my water bottle, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I try to get out. I had a buddy that was down here a week or two ago for the Masters. He stayed at my house. He's a ball golf superintendent up in upstate New York. And he came down, hadn't been down here to Augusta where I live that's irrelevant. He had not played disc golf ever. We used to play regular golf together when I was like in high school and college. I've known him forever. I did get him out on a course and took him out to play, and he had never played. And anytime you get to take someone new out on a course, that's just one of my all-time favorite things to do. So more casual golf than anything. I try to play a couple sanctioned tournaments every year. I need to get back out there a little more, but my rating is in was it Tom Petty that had a song? I think it was called "Free Fallin'."
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's like the theme to my rating. But
yeah, that's funny you did that. We used to have a segment where we would say rate your last tournament using a theme, like a song, and so the Free Falling, that's a good one. Hey, you see up this chat just popped up. It says for Josh to ask you, but I pulled it up. You're not DD anymore, and I don't know if you ever just threw DD anyways, but are you throwing a wide open bag? Are you sponsored? No, okay.
PDGA
yeah,
sponsor.
well, I'm partially sponsored by a daughter who has
perfect.
an inside track on some discs. But
That's true.
I will tell you, and I share this with a lot of people. I did throw discs made in Sweden exclusively for a long time, and some great discs. However, once I took the PDGA job, it was almost. And I still have quite a few of those discs in my bag, but I've got Discraft in there. I'll tell you a disc that I love, and you guys up in New England would appreciate this. It's the Lobster by Mint Discs. That disc is a fun disc to throw. But I've got some Innova in there. I've got Latitude DD. I think I even have this disc that I'm trying out, and I would not recommend it until maybe I can prove that it's worthwhile to throw. But have you heard of a really floppy disc called the Koi?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that thing is like an eraser. If you need it to stick somewhere, it will, but it's pretty floppy. But,
I'm having a brain freeze on the junior player's name, but he's in our division. I'm going to remember it after this. He was throwing it at Worlds last year everywhere. I mean, he could wedge that into the basket. He was just whipping it at it. It would stick in.
Yep. But no, so I throw, so whoever asked that question on the chat, there are so many awesome manufacturers out there, which really, if it weren't for the people making the discs and the baskets that we play with, we wouldn't even be a sport. So in my new role, I'm able to give more of them my business, and I try to mix it up a little bit. But yeah, if you haven't thrown that Mint Lobster, that thing's pretty cool.
I'm sad to say I've never gotten in a round with you. I've gotten around with lots of people, but I've never gotten in a round. I have no idea what your game's like, Doug, and it doesn't matter to me if it's 1,000 rated or 800 rated. But like, what is your most fun throw that you like? You're good at it, you enjoy it. Like, is it putting? Is it throwing? Is it forehand? Is it over? Like, I don't even know.
There's only really 3 areas of my game that need improvement. Putting,
come on. There's only 3 areas.
And drives.
Okay.
If I can.
Yep.
No, I tell people
that.
this all the time. My throws are perfect in my mind. Right
Okay.
Until they leave my hand. And then once they leave my hand, all bets are off. But I don't know. I was 960 rated. That's about as high as I've been rated.
Nice.
My rating has plummeted into the high 800s.
Yep.
Although people I play with still say when you go play like in Mexico or you play at international tournaments, they don't have a lot of propagators. So I can remember the first tournament I went to Mexico in, I was the highest rated golfer of everybody. I was like 952 and just got my lunch handed to me by a bunch of 910 and 905 rated golfers from Mexico. But that's because they don't have anyone down there that's, really pushing the envelope. So if you want your rating to really tank, go play in other countries that have just started playing disc golf.
Perfect. There's probably other ways to do that as well. Just stop practicing no, that's great. Yeah. So anyways, we'll have to do it sometime. I'm sure when you travel around, because the few times that I've done it, when you're traveling to a tournament or a course, you're so busy. You're like, that'd be cool to play, but I'm so busy. That's probably the most often for you, right?
That is. And it is. And also I'm at these big courses usually for these big events, and I'm like, wow, these are awesome. But I'll also, a little secret, I'd rather play 9 holes for those of you that know Emporia. Now I don't live there anymore, but Hammond Park, which is a short little 9-hole court. To me, that's just a zen moment to play a simple 9-hole, not going to lose my disc in the water, just have some fun. And it doesn't mean I don't like playing the big courses too. I had a chance to play Eagles Crossing a year and a half ago or so, and enjoyed every minute of that. All 827 throws that I took. It was pretty exciting.
Awesome.
Well, I think we're about to let you go, but I believe we're having Sean Jack on. So, I mean, anything that we need to ask Sean on your behalf, Doug, or what?
Is this done yet?
No.
All
Yeah,
right.
no. Tell Sean that I said I'm looking forward to seeing him tomorrow,
All
and that I couldn't be happier that 1,000 Rated Productions, which is the company that Sean and Sean have been running, and it's kind of how they do all their events. Man, those guys are pros, and they do a fantastic job. So you got one of the good ones on. So tell Sean I said hello.
Can we do one question with Doug before he goes? I haven't done this in a long time. Let's see if this actually works.
Judge That Disc Golfer, the game show where you judge a disc golfer you've never met.
Okay, so I've met you, but I just told you I didn't know anything about your game, and there's one question we ask. The point shouldn't be, how do I clear these? This has been a long time coming. The executive director of the PDGA, Judge That Disc Golfer. Okay, here we go. The one question we're going to ask, we're going to let the chat play along before we drop you out, is how far can you throw a disc? So don't answer it yet. Think of it, lock a number in your head. And you want a clarifier because everybody wants clarifiers. What do you mean, Matt? We're not going to give you a clarifier. Just you're stepping up to throw, and I say, hey, how far can you throw? What's the number that comes out, right? And so we're going to let the chat get in here. We've already got some coming in. Someone saying 315, someone saying 250. We'll let more come in here. But Nick, we're going to put you on the spot first for the show. What do you think he's going to answer? You got it locked in, Doug?
I have the number. It's less than what it used to be.
There's clues.
Yep.
I have it locked in.
Okay, what do you got, Nick?
We're going 325.
I'm going to go over 325 and say 345. Josh?
285.
Oh, taking the under. Okay, so here we go. This is how it's played. How do you answer, Doug? How far can you throw a disc?
You may be surprised. This may be the thing that I can still do. I was playing with some guys that were like, oh my gosh,
boy.
58. I can throw consistently about 380.
So I get the over, but that's good.
95
that's really
feet
good.
further than I said.
Right. Now,
Yeah,
of course, I'm talking centimeters here. I like to exact. No.
That's
that
right.
would be
That's
feet.
right.
Yep.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's good.
Yeah, and this prompted this game in my mind when you said free falling and your rating. We have questions about that too, but we're just going to move on. We wanted to get this in. It was awesome to have you on the show, man.
Yep.
Let's see here if the outro works. Close it out, and we'll let you go. But so thanks for joining the show.
Yep. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. It's
Take
been
care.
great.
Bye.
Now we're stuck, Matt. You can't
Yeah,
get us
we're
out.
stuck. It's not going back.
We're stuck judging.
We're stuck judging. I gotta hit a few buttons here, and of course
I
it's
do love
lagging.
the color scheme, though.
Ah, sweet colors.
Yeah. There it is.
380 feet. I'm loving it.
Good for him.
There you go.
Just to be clear, I never threw 380 feet, except maybe by accident once. But
Man, we should go out. It's easier said than done. We should go out and make a video. Nick throws, I throw, Josh throws. Now Ben's on the tour, but we could try to guess how far each of us is going to throw. Like, I guess how far Nick's going to throw. Nick, and we play a game.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
There you go. That was a little throwback. Judge That Disc Golfer. I just thought the moment was right. We were talking about his game, and I was like, how far does he throw? Judge That Disc Golfer. Cool. We're just
lots of
about
stuff
ready to
happening
get.
at the PD. Yeah, and say we can transition. Lots
He's
of
not
stuff
in
happening
yet,
at the
but
PDGA.
soon.
And thanks to Doug. I mean, he's stuck on here with us 40 minutes. Everything from GBO to Worlds and other majors. And the truth is, there's even a bunch of other topics we just didn't even
my friends.
broach with Doug because of time. But thankful for his leadership at the PDGA. That doesn't mean that everybody has to like every single thing that they're doing. But we love the sport, and so you hope you have a leader who stewards it well, and I think Doug's trying to do that with his team. Pretty big deal. I mean, at this point, think about this. Pro Worlds, 26, 27, and 29, and then 28's going out to bid here next month. Like that's 4 years of Worlds that are about to be locked in. Pretty interesting. To me, I know there's always debated Worlds or US DGC, but to me, Worlds is number one. That's the event that I look forward to every year. We talk about disc golf every week, and I love it. But literally, I would also be fine if we didn't talk about any disc golf and just talked about the Worlds. Like to
that
me,
is
it's like that's
the
where
week
it's at.
of disc golf. That's our Masters right now. Is the World Championship.
I like the fact that we get to know Worlds and what it is further in advance. So let's say it wasn't in Europe, again, from my perspective, as just like someone who wants to play, like, hey, let's say they're like, hey, Matt, in 5 years, it is coming to Maple Hill and these 2 other courses or other course that's in the area, right? I'd be like, cool. Like, I can prepare for that. Maybe not to play, but like I could go play those courses or a course in the Midwest or out west in California. Like if we knew these like further in advance, it gives a lot of opportunity for the event to be bolstered and like built up over time. It allows people to get to like think about, hey, I can go and play those courses, get prepped for them. I mean, we get to know a year out right now, right? Or is it 2 years? The way it's announced. I know you get to the announcement.
Yeah, they're doing them in like 2 year chunks,
2 years
so
out,
up to 2 years out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt, honestly, I agree for the primary thing that you said at the end, which is I want these event teams in areas to be able to plan for multi-year, because if they're a good planning team and you give them 4 years, the event should be like incredible.
Extra stuff, and the stuff that always happens will be just polished.
Yeah, and there were some critiques for the Estonian event last year for the course, right? Just was the course up to par, right? That's and now we're saying they're going to run 2 more majors and a Pro Tour Elite event before we get to Worlds. And so if they're a good team, they're going to have so much feedback, and they should have 2 courses like hyper focused with lots of investment, money investment, time investment, feedback. It'll be up to them to whether they execute it, but they've got everything, their way. So I think it's cool.
Does this allow, so like somebody like Ty, right? Now, Ty, if you're hearing us talk about you, hopefully it's cool and not weird. He made a social media post, which we could read, but the sentiment behind it is like, man, you brought this up to Doug. I had dreams, aspirations, actual plans, goals, whatever. And they were either with him or his team. But the point is he had these plans that he wanted to put in a bid for Worlds for was it the 25th anniversary?
It would have been the 25 of
Des Moines.
Since it was at Des Moines. Yeah. Des Moines.
So like, that's cool. Right now, everyone's like, hey, what's the other course, right? Like, you got a good course, but like, what's the other course? And like, Worlds, is that written anywhere? It needs 2 courses, or is that just like legacy?
I think they've communicated that now. I don't know if it's official in the bid.
I think it's part of the things that's in the packet that,
okay,
that's what you're doing.
So what I'm bringing this up,
you do need 2 courses.
In his scenario, I don't know what his plan was there, and maybe he had one. He said, like I was reading the chats, he's like, you don't really know. We had a lot in the like boiling, right, on whatever.
Yeah.
So that's true, but now so that is a little disheartening if that was kind of your plan and this is the year that this happens. I get that. So I'm not trying to say anything about that. What I am trying to say is if it turned into a 5-year look ahead, if that's like what became the regular, could somebody like Ty say, hey, I want the 5-year and we're going to have like check flags along the way. So when we're 3 years out, you will see the new course, right? So it could be evaluated. Like, would it allow people to do that without having a second course? Would it allow people to do that without having any course if you were 5 years out?
Well, I think Doug said the conversation should be open. I think he said that here tonight. He's like, anybody, if you've got plans and aspirations and you want to reach out and talk to us about it, I think you can.
Okay. Well, we've got someone in the green room now, man named Sean. He comes from the West Coast, but from the East Coast to the West Coast. How long have you been out on the West Coast, Sean?
Late 2008.
Late 2000.
Right before the financial crisis happened, like 5 minutes after we moved into our apartment in San Francisco.
So you left.
Awesome.
You left New England right around then when I just started disc golf. Like I was like a year into disc golf, maybe.
I don't think that was much of a coincidence, to be honest.
Yes, roast. Everyone loved that. If you like that, leave a comment.
I'm kidding.
They like Sean Jack more now than they did before they came on the
Yeah,
show.
I don't. It's weird because you're such a prominent member of the New England disc golf community, and I started playing in late '07, and my last tournament was the Borderlands Spring Fling. No, I'm lying. My last tournament was the Vibram Open, and then I moved like a couple of months later. Yeah, that was the first. That was the first Vibram ever.
It was the first Vibram ever? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd only been playing for like 7 months, and I know that sounds like I'm bragging, but I made the cut, and I got paid.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Make the cut, get paid.
What year was that? You said it was 2008?
You can look it up. Yep, 2008.
Yeah, you know I'm looking it up.
I think I got like last cash. I honestly cashed 5 years in a row in that tournament until the year I got married in 2013, and then I didn't even come close. And the temperature just increased a little bit, and honestly, the course got too long. I can only throw like 350, and back then you could still score on Maple Hill Gold when it was, terrifying but not inhuman.
Yeah, so you made $190, and now look at you in disc
Yeah,
golf.
and I accepted it. I accepted it, which I'm pissed that I did because I never got to play. I never got to play an amateur major, and I would have liked to have played AM Worlds. That would have been pretty cool.
Well, good job to you. That is cool to have that history.
Thanks.
Newer people to the sport hear Vibram Open and they're like, that's a historical event, right? Like it's had a lot of names thanks to Steve Dodge. So
yeah,
Maple Hill Open.
I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for those moments, I wouldn't be, sitting here at Sunset Park right now. It's all connected.
That $190 seed money to the what you're doing now.
Kinda. I mean, it's part of the story,
Yeah. Okay. Well,
but I'm really happy to be here, by the way. Thank you so much for asking. I don't think I've been on the show before, and I'm thrilled. So,
I don't know if that's
awesome.
true or not. You probably would know if you were on the show, but I feel like we've had you on the show. But maybe it's a different
When it
name
was
and a
Nick and
different
Matt?
time. Yeah, Nick and Matt probably.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I've thought about that, and I was really
Imagine
happy
I find it. You're like, I'm sorry, it wasn't a memorable moment for me.
Oh no,
That's okay. No, I'm not even gonna go look. But seriously, it's cool to always run into you. You know what? Like people are out there. They love you. They hate you. The same goes for everybody that's in the limelight. You've had a lot going on the last few years with what you're doing in tournaments. I think your company got sued. I mean, you're running Champions Cup because you're taking off time from SFO. All these things. Now, so Champions Cup.
By the way, thank you for calling it SFO. I appreciate that.
OTB.
Like vintage. No, it's okay. It's the same event. That's the life of the event, though.
Vibram Open, Maple Hill Open.
Well, we changed the name of the tournament when we moved locations. When we were at SFO, it was at the Glen Eagles golf course in San Francisco, like on the south side of the city.
Well, part of why I do that is one, I applied that event to you, and two, your at for Instagram is Sean Jack SF, not SFO, but it's still in my head. Yep. Okay, cool. I'm gonna throw this over to Nick. So Nick just returned to the New England disc golf scene from Olympus down there in Florida. He's now back in New England. He's playing in the pro scene. He just took second out of B tier. I don't think he's happy with it, but he's our local pro now. And I said you got to talk to Sean. He's running the big event. Nick's run with the help of others, volunteers, other events. And we said, Nick, you get to run this interview with Sean. So here you go, Nick.
He did the SFO. He stole the SFO
yes.
name.
Yeah, and Sean and I had a good laugh about that because
the first time I heard that, I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm gonna move the event back to San Francisco just to take
it. You know what?
Yes,
I just
exactly.
I never realized that till this moment. Did I miss the ball?
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, Sean and I had a
SFO.
good laugh about it because I had emailed Sean and I was like, hey, the platform that you use on hole 1, where did you get it? Did you guys build it? And he's like, damn, you're stealing the name of my tournament and you're going to steal my
and
platform
my
idea?
stage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So,
which you did not do, by the way.
No,
right?
we didn't. It, the guy from Sunbelt actually never messaged me back about it. And I was like, okay, whatever. But it didn't need to work out anyways. So, anyways.
Speaking of the platform, if I just made a quick shout out, we doubled down on our stage this year and spent over $20,000 on it, and we made like a double luxury box. Like this, it's 3 levels now: the tee pad, a couch section, and then high top tables in the third. And then I also rented the shade structure, and it just looks. So it's really cool. Besides Estonia, I think it's the best hole one we have on tour.
Okay.
Steve Dodge
At
might
least-
have some
hold on,
arguments.
hole one tee box, and that
Okay.
includes Maple Hills is tough to. Oh, maybe Maple Hill. All right.
I was going to say Steve Dodge might have some answers to that, but that's just Steve Dodge.
Well,
for you.
we'll all
I'm
judge
telling
it
you,
now.
You'll see it this weekend. It's
I'm
pretty cool.
excited.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a platform.
Yeah.
You could probably drive over there right now, Sean, and show us.
All right, let's go.
keep the interview going, but he's gonna drive.
Exactly.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. As long as the quality's
too
good, which it
distracting.
seems like it is. No, gosh, no. I think the everyone that's listening post audio, go check us out on YouTube so you can see exactly what's happening right now. But I guess we'll kind of jump right into it. Where first major of the year is coming up, Champions Cup. You are hosting and running it. How are you feeling right now? We are a few days out from the event.
I feel eerily confident. Like,
Okay.
I'm nervous because I think we did a really good job preparing this year, and I don't feel as if we have any major things to do. There's some mustaches to be waxed to really get to the finish line, but like the course is obviously set up for competition because we had our first official practice day today. Players have been practicing since Thursday. We just ran a 3-day A-tier amateur event, which is a really good dress rehearsal for us to get things right. And I feel great. Like, I'm really excited. I'm tired, but players are happy. We have basically 1.5 courses that the players have to prepare for because it's a 4-day event. So we wanted to really have a true AB pool. Sorry, not AB pool, AB layout. And so far the response has been great. And I don't know. We moved hole 1 this year to the other side of the property, which here we are. It's okay if I change my camera around.
Yeah. Live might work. You can try it. It's possible that it freezes up too. It's wrong.
Like that.
He can turn it around. I think he's got to come in that way though.
So yeah, I was gonna say if he just comes back in that direction.
Let's see. There you go. We can hear you and see you.
Wow.
Okay, so he's touring us of the platform. It's a stage with like a bunch of shade cloth, the cool tee pad. It is a launch platform, and then you got tents off the side, couches. So that was something that we saw this year.
Yeah.
At MVP. Now I'm saying all these other old names. Chairs, dude. Who gets to sit in all those spots? Is that like VIP ticket holders or something like that?
No, gold pass holders.
Okay.
Gold pass holders, players, caddies, vendors, sponsors, and anyone else who I say so.
Because you get the
anyone that we want to take care of.
I'm gonna buy my ticket right now.
We're gonna put on a really good party this weekend. Like, we have ticket sales are up 30% year over year. If we just do the same amount of tickets as we did last year, which we should do more since we're outpacing it, and it's a 5-day event, which includes President's Cup.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's gonna be wild. It's super fun. Very excited.
I guess that was going to be kind of one of my questions was, do you feel the spectator increase going from an Elite Series event to a major in general, which you kind of did answer right there. But I guess one of the biggest things is going from an Elite Series event to a major. What do you feel like was the biggest hurdle of changing around the course or getting prepped for a major? What do you think the biggest hurdle was?
Well, because we're a major, because we went to 4 days, we decided to, design. Our course designer, Leonard Muse, who's actually in the Disc Golf Hall of Fame now, he probably did 18 different holes, and we finally narrowed it down to 10. So that creating, I don't know if you guys know, we're a safari course on a golf course it's not constrained whatsoever by the golf fairways and greens. Like, we just use the property as if it's a park. So we install all the tee pads. We have a fantastic crew of volunteers and core team members. Sean Mercy, my business partner, he handles like all the course stuff, and he's been kicking ass. So getting the course ready, we also planted over a dozen trees to hopefully combat the narrative that we're a wide open course.
Should I change my picks? Because like I do fantasy picks, like you change the course enough where historically it's going to change who might do well.
No, I still think it's. We've actually had. We've never had a repeat MPO winner, including going to San Francisco. So I would almost guess that Gannon's going to win because he's really good
Yeah.
and he hasn't won yet.
Well,
But
we'll see.
so yeah, and then it's just, working with the Pro Tour is a little bit different than working with the PDGA, which is weird because I work for the Pro Tour. It's just different. There's just some differences in the production of the event execution. The on-course assets. There's just some subtleties, but nothing that we can't overcome. But more work because today we have a Monday qualifier. Tomorrow we have a Uplay fundraiser. Wednesday we have the President's Cup. Wednesday night we have a player dinner on site. It's just a lot of stuff. But overall, I would say it's like 20-30% more work, but we're also, I think, 20% more ticketing, which is great.
Exactly. There's the opposite of it. So what do you find to be the most difficult aspect of running a big event, whether it be the Elite Series or now the major?
The amount of administration that it contains. It's just never ending. It's just activity and stuff to do.
Phone calls, meetings, kind of in that aspect.
Yeah. But I don't find it when I drive out here, it's like a 2-hour drive. I literally go, all right, you're going into TD mode for the next 2 weeks, which means friendly and responsive at all times, right? No matter how much I'm tired or I'm impatient, it just means like you have to pick up to be responsive via text message, via email, via Facebook Messenger, via Instagram, all the time. And that can be taxing, but just flip a switch and just do it and plug through it. And just try to set the tone to be, again, friendly. Like I think one of the reasons why this event is successful is because people are happy here. It's the players get to camp on site. The weather is usually perfect. Our staff are friendly and welcoming, and hopefully that just creates a vibe that permeates throughout everything.
Nice. What is something that kind of you learn every single year to know to improve on coming the following year?
Start earlier.
The next year. Okay.
Love it.
Start planning earlier. Yeah, it can never be too late. Do a postmortem after your event's over very quickly in order to address things that you inevitably will forget. Delegate more, empower more people, like upgrade volunteers or super volunteers to, maybe staff. Find gaps in what you're doing. Like this year, we always knew social media wasn't a strength of ours. So Zach Kuykendall, who's the social media director of the Disc Golf Pro Tour, lives an hour away. So he is actually part of my team on this event. And so now we have, better social media marketing, which is, it's just things like that.
Gotcha. If money wasn't an issue, what is something that you would change with your event? What would you use if money wasn't an issue?
Not an issue at all.
Not an issue at all. You had $1 billion to do what you need to do.
No, seriously, not an issue or $1 million. That's a different question.
No, right? $1 billion. I feel like with $1 billion, that's not an issue. Yeah. Exactly.
I would.
Yeah, let's say not an issue whatsoever.
I would buy 100 acres in Northern California.
Okay.
So change venue. I would. Yeah, because I'd want to build my own mecca, right? Like doesn't everyone want their own disc golf retirement community with 2.5 courses, place to play poker, volleyball, like pickleball courts, and then everyone has their own little Airbnb, and we can all live there and have cards just like golfers do, but it's for us. And then that would host the events. That would be maybe an hour like in like the foothills, like towards the Sierra Nevadas, and have a full-scale disc golf resort that could also, double up to a live music venue. And I want to stop spending tens and thousands of dollars on course rental and infrastructure that I don't own. Like I hate a tee pad costs like $1,000, and I don't own it. I own dirt in the ground at a municipal golf course. That drives me crazy because I'm spending money and I'm not getting an asset.
Yeah.
So it would be to do this somewhere else. Although I love Swenson Park. Like it's an oasis in Stockton that's got foxes and ground squirrels and beautiful birds, and everyone can stay on site. And it's right off I-5. But it's at this point now. This is our 5th year here. I'm at over $250,000 in course rental and infrastructure.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Like $50,000 a year.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and it's like that's just vapor. That's vapor now, right? I don't have a.
Yeah.
It's not like it's an asset. Like I bought a house.
Yeah. Exactly. Good timing, man. Good timing. Good
editing. Nice work.
Yeah, there you go. Well, thank you for being transparent about that. I think that's one thing in our sport that we've always contracts have always been kind of secret until a few big ones have come out. But course rental, people don't realize how expensive that stuff actually is.
I'm not even the most, like, some golf courses on tour are much more than this.
Yes.
We actually have a pretty good deal. So, but yeah, my expenses for this event alone are over $200,000.
Yeah, which is ludicrous. Were the expenses were they similar to when you were at Glen Eagles?
You know what? Oh, no way. No way. No. But no, not even. The added cash back then was like $5. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah.
And now.
Well, okay, if you were still running at Glen Eagles, would you be paying it? If you have any idea, would it be similar, do you think?
So I paid, what did I pay Glen Eagles? Like $20,000, something like $20,000. And that was insane back then. It was so much money. But I love Glen Eagles it's so pretty and it's a good test for these players. But players have nightmares in San Francisco, like driving Sprinter vans around. I don't know if you guys have been there. It's a very densely populated. It's got more people than Boston, and it's way smaller than Boston.
Wow.
I think it's the top 5 most densely populated cities in the country. It's only 7 by 7 miles, and it has like 800 and something thousand people.
It sounds miserable, actually. I would like to
go
visit.
It's beautiful. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that was a great tournament to watch. That was actually one of my favorite golf course tournaments to watch in disc golf. Was the Glen Eagles?
Yeah, it's just so pretty, and it's got great elevation.
Awesome elevation changes to it.
Yep.
Yeah. Was it an instant yes when Champions Cup was kind of put onto your plate?
For me, it was, but okay. I think I trust my emotions more. And I have a business partner, Sean Mercy, who's a legend. He's also the president of the San Francisco Disc Golf Club. He's an engineer, and I'm a marketer promoter, and so we're a good duo. Whereas I was like, absolutely, for a lot of reasons. Like, I just watched Kristen Tatar play this morning. She's never been to California before.
Wow.
Evelina is throwing here. Henna's here. Silva's here. All these players wouldn't come, if we weren't a major. Like Chris Dickerson, who famously his wife said, "We'll never go to California."
Yeah.
I just gave him a hug.
Is it California?
Yeah. So I'd say the strength of the fields, is worth it. It's more work. It's more expenses are about the same, but revenue goes up. I said yes right away, but Sean probably took a couple weeks to just really think through it. And of course, he was right. There are things that I never thought of that would present themselves that are different than being on the tour.
Do you have a for example for that?
Yeah. Like no disrespect to the PDGA. I love those guys and they've been fantastic teammates, but they're not a full-time disc golf tour operator, right? That's not their makes a difference, things going on. With the Disc Golf Pro Tour, circus and a media company all in one. And the traveling circus is at this point highly proficient, and they come into town and they take on more responsibilities than the PDGA does for your event.
Yep.
Because think about how many reps they have, right? They have hundreds of reps by now. And the PDGA does the majors every year, but I think the PDGA leans more on the LOCs to get more stuff done, which is why I actually paid the Disc Golf Pro Tour, which is strange because it's my employer, to come here and make use of some of the on-course assets and have Max to be part of our team. But it's not the same thing as having like all those operations guys. You know what I mean? And in the ramp leading up to the event with planning, it's just different. There's strength and weaknesses on both sides.
Yeah. Is there any sort of rivalry going on with Phil Delaney right now? Is he kind of telling you what to do now that he's over?
It'd be cool if he was here.
Oh,
that would be cool.
Yeah.
He's in the air right now. The PDGA though has been here. Yeah. Patrick has been here. Bill, Tim Messer have been here since Thursday. He is in the air. He will be here tomorrow.
Same with Doug.
One day before the event. Yeah,
we just had Doug on. Yeah, and that leads me into kind of my next question.
Yeah,
we did just have Doug on previously, and one of our big topics was talking about the World Championships. Is that something that's on your mind of let's get a California Worlds into rotation soon? Soon in parentheses.
Maybe. I mean, more on my mind than it was before we did this. Because this is the first major we've had first non-age protected major that we've had in the state since 2011 Worlds, which was an epic Worlds. That's the one that Seppo threw in that ace off the pier in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that shot.
Yes.
But we don't. The problem is, if we're going to be here, then we need another course, and that would mean redesigning Swenson, because we have the property. It's like 200 acres.
Oh, okay.
But man, I don't want to. It would be so much work.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think Almost Worlds has outgrown maybe this property. Like, I look at the competition now, and it's like, that Estonian event is crazy. I think we have a cool hole 1, and their hole 1 is in a stadium. And then I'm going to help run Worlds in 2 years. We just helped. Oh, I got my 23 Smug shirt. Smugs, I think, is a perfect venue. You have 2 world-class courses, the resources of a resort. So I feel a little insecure about it, to be honest. Like, I'm not sure. There would have to be a new course that pops up close in a city that's willing to really work with you, right? It requires, like, Estonia is giving them federal government support. That's big muscle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think maybe Champions Cup again, but if that $1 billion does land in my lap and we can design the property with the 2 courses, then perhaps. But I'd be more passionate about maybe being part of the team that did it somewhere else where there was a better fit.
That makes sense. So going back to OTB Open, or if Champions Cup was to come back to Stockton, are you planning on staying at Swenson Park indefinitely? Like, that is
short term.
Short term.
I mean,
okay.
until I have that Shangri-La disc golf course that land in my map. I do have a dream, and Sean Mercy thinks I'm crazy, to bring the SFO back to San Francisco, but not do it at Glen Eagles, but do it at Golden Gate Park.
Okay.
And if we can, if the point where we can get to be able to write like $1 million check for expenses to take, because Golden Gate Park is very expensive to do business if you want to shut it down. I don't know if you guys have played that course, but we could use the course, and then we have like a safari course across the street, and then one of the adjacent meadows. But we'd have to like permit the whole thing for a week. It'd be kind of nuts, and that's just hard to do in a bureaucracy like San Francisco, So that's my dream, actually, to move it back to the city and have it be free general admission and bring in 5,000 spectators or more, because it's in top 2 most famous city parks in the country.
It's such a good location. Yeah. Gotcha.
But next year, like, we're already talking to the management here that in 26, it's probably going to be a little bit of a hangover year next year, but I can't imagine we would go somewhere else. We love it here.
No, that makes sense. A couple more days till the big event. Is there anything that you didn't get done that you wish you did get done for the major?
I would say I still have 2 more days.
Yep.
And Amazon is fast, and that's like we talk about things that we can do, and we action them now.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, go to the printer, get this done. Signage or banners, or we have a lot of resourceful people here. It's like there's like 7 entities. The Pro Tour is here. My team is here. MVP is here. OTB is here. Swenson Park is here. Visit Stockton is here, and like all those people are coalescing together, like bees, and just kicking ass. And I can't think. It sounds terrible. Like, I can't think of anything specific that was big that I wanted to do that we didn't get done.
That's awesome.
Yet.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a good thing not to be able to think.
Well, I'm nervous about the one weird thing. As a major TD, you have to provide a player pack item, which is strange to run a pro event. That usually that's not something that you do.
Yeah.
So we ordered, we were a very sunny tournament. We ordered bucket hats for all the players, inspired by Mr. Joey Buckets. And they don't get here till Wednesday, which gets me, I'm a little scared about them not being here. But whatever, we'll figure that out.
I'm sure pros will be fine. They're not used to getting player packs anyways. My last final question.
No.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Last and final question on my side. Champions Cup we've seen go from IDGC, it's gone to Northwoods, it's going to Lynchburg next year. Was it ever a plan to stay in Stockton, or were you guys just kind of like, hey, okay?
Nope. It was I think not at all. Like, we didn't have any thoughts of like kidnapping it, I think is what you're kind of alluding to.
Yeah, sort of kind of.
Yeah. Like what's the possession is 9/10 of the law.
Yeah.
No. Like, the reason why we're here is because when there was uncertainty about Champions Cup, I keep conflating President Champions Cup. 2 years ago or last year, remember it was moved around, canceled, and then put in the Northwood Black, like half of Ledgestone. We tentatively put our hat in the ring to get the event then. So I think we're already on top of mind, and they knew that IDDC would not be available. So they said, hey, do you want to do it? And then we said yes. But it was always very transparent about, this is just a Band-Aid, not Band-Aid, but it's just this year. Hopefully we'll demonstrate, professionalism and show a really good time to the fans, players, everyone, and they can come back. But it's not, we know we're going to go back to, I want to go back to OTB next year also to make sure my title sponsor gets their name recognition back. When you all talk about the event, you literally say the name of their company over and over and over again, right? Like that's the power of having a core sponsor. And, even though there's still, several, maybe tens of thousands of Frisbees with their logo on it, it's not the same. You just say OTB and you're talking about the event in Northern California.
Nope, totally makes sense. That's it for me on my side of things. Matt, Josh, if you guys have anything.
No, he's already roasted me once. I don't want to keep going.
No, but I would like to.
He's still on the course, so we got to let him go to work soon.
Yes, exactly.
We're looking forward to President's Cup and Champions Cup. So kudos to you and the team. I do want to have you back in the future, though, because right now I want all your brain power to be applied here. But I want to talk about your role with the Pro Tour and just
off season. I think is a great time for that because I'm usually curating a different partnership program and having a lot of conversations, and it's a good time to summarize the year and then what we're doing about talking about next year. Maybe we could, or if I come home for Maple, maybe I can do it live in the studio at your house.
Be awesome.
We could
cool?
do it.
We'll set something up.
We'll figure it out.
Are you guys going to Europe?
Wish.
No. There is a very
it's not in the
chance.
cards.
Yeah. I'm potentially going to Slovakia for a couple days, and then I want to fly to Finland after to catch the last 2 or 3 days of Worlds. But I'm still
That's what I'm doing. There's 6 to 8 of us going to, not to brag, but we're going to Sweden, Norway, and then flying to Finland. We're going to play Ale, Krokel, and what's the course in Stockholm that used to be #1 in the world?
Yeah, not Yarva, right?
Yarva. Yeah. And then all the courses in between.
Yarva.
Yeah. And then fly over and watch the last 3 days of Worlds. My wife is letting me do that without her, so I'm very, very, very thankful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good for you. Yeah. 2
weeks in Europe with a disc golf road trip with my homies, but in Europe. Very excited.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Yeah. Stoked.
Cool.
What? Anything else?
No. Anything on your side of things where you're like, hey, be on the lookout for this, or you're
be on the lookout for one of the most exciting holes to watch, at least in person. I don't know if you guys can visualize the course. Hole 11 last year was a double water carry. It's the one across the pond from Party Islands.
Yes.
And it's now hole 12 this year. We moved hole 1 to the other side of the property, and everything else is off by 1 number. But that is now hole 12, and on Saturday and Sunday during the B layout, it is now a par 5 where they carry the water in its entirety and go all the way across. It's eagleable for the men because it's only 8 something, and it's a forced carry, and there's no drop zone. So there is a chance that people might tin cup it.
I love the fact you're doing A pins and B pins. I actually love that.
Yeah, 10 different ones.
Awesome.
10 different ones, and I think that pin's going to be very, very exciting to watch, especially on site, because I have 2 stages that have visibility of it, next to Party Island and hole 18, and it's just going to be thrilling. And so much scoring separation coming down. The last 3 holes we have are terrifying, in the best possible way. So check that out. And new hole 1. Hole 1, it was kind of a dud previous years. It was just wide open, very disc golf on a golf course, and now we've made it just cooler.
All right. Well, then I'm excited because I was thinking through hole 1 recently, and I was like, But let's see.
It was good for spectators on sites because they got to see the men throw a 500-foot golf shot.
Okay.
That's what it was cool.
Very cool.
Come on, Nicholas.
Hey, that's boring.
Is your
Yeah, wait, what did I do?
I had this whole area coned off because it's all wet, and Nicholas Antela just drove right through it.
Oh, not Nick Carl.
No. Sorry.
He said Nicholas. I'm like, damn, mom.
I know. Nicholas Carl.
She's downstairs, so
that's funny.
That's funny.
Hey, have you talked to the spotters or divers this year? Is anybody going to catch a disc in the air?
So we're actually going to give them like hamburger helper gloves while they're out there, so they can get more.
All right.
Like, yeah.
That's
no,
funny.
they know that guy felt awful.
Yeah.
We've talked
But you
about
know
it on
what?
the show. It's like
Every event has to have something silly, otherwise Disc Golf World won't have any content.
Yeah,
There's
that's
always
true.
controversy. There's always
And
something.
that one could have been way worse. It was kind of harmless, but obviously not the best.
Did you see
but
the
anyway.
clip, Sean, of Masters actual golf, where the caddy or the official got hit in the back by a golf ball? Did you see
No,
that? Oh,
I
we're gonna have
didn't.
to send it to
Middle
you.
of
It's
the fairway.
Yeah,
crazy.
this is like PGA, like
He's
yeah,
like,
Masters.
We're at the Masters. Yeah.
He's not
Best
quite on the
event in the
color
world.
of a green, but he's like standing there with a flag in his hand.
In the middle
And
of the fairway.
And
kinda.
one of the players just hits a ball right into his back from like 200 yards away.
Yeah. One or two bounces.
I'm surprised people don't die more often during PGA Tour events. It just seems like
That's true.
That's a testament for how good players are.
True.
Yeah.
they spin way close. They're way closer than we are. Way
Yeah.
closer.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
going
When are we
twice
going to
as
start
fast.
pushing it in?
Yeah.
You know what? What I would love to do is elevate the stage so it's even higher and put fans underneath. it
Throw
on the
over
front.
him. Wow.
Yeah, Fox Run hole is 13 the last hole before you cross back over the street.
Yeah.
Oh
No,
yeah.
That
12.
whole-
12. Hold
Yeah,
12.
I know where
So
you're talking.
12.
You could.
You can be on the FPOT pad on hole 12 while they're throwing from the reservoir.
Yep.
And you can hear the disc over your head, and it's a really, really cool effect.
Yes.
And I would love to build, or if we can start using like baseball nets, like at fields, to put fans behind them to put the action up close
right.
and personal.
Yeah, yeah.
It
All
just costs a lot of
interesting
money.
ideas. Yeah.
Yeah,
But hey, that $1 billion is coming.
I don't want $1 billion. It's too much.
Yeah, that's too much.
Like 10 million.
I
10 million would
want
be.
I want $1 billion.
No, you don't know how to have $1 billion.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
true.
no, I do not. No, I do not.
You know what I mean? Do you have people that make sure you don't get kidnapped? You know what I mean? Like things like
That's a
that.
good point.
Your life
I
just
never thought about it
changes.
like that, actually. Yeah.
No, it's too much.
Yeah.
10 million is good. 10 million, you get like $400,000 a year in interest alone. Like that's good amount.
Okay.
True. We can all agree. We can all agree.
Thought about this,
10,
TJ.
10
Who's got 10 billion?
That's funny.
All right, we're good. On that
Okay.
note,
Yeah, we're this is a fun podcast tonight. We appreciate your time, but we know you're busy too. We'll have you back on.
No, it's a blast. I
But
appreciate
good luck out there, and we'll
Yeah.
be enjoying
Thank you.
watching from afar.
Keep up what you're doing. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you,
man.
John. Appreciate you, man.
Peace out.
Take care.
good stuff. Thank you. Bye.
So before we kind of digest the whole thing, the way Sean just explained his event, everything that's going on, kind of like his good mood that whole interview makes me wish I was at that event. Now, and another reason why I'm saying that is because the Pro Tour over the last few years, I've been going to Pro Tour events since 2013, technically speaking, but let's say 2017 and beyond. I've gone to a lot of Pro Tour events as a player or as a spectator. And every single year they found something that just elevates their tournament just the next level. And literally speaking, the stages and the VIP areas that we had at Supreme Flight Open this year, what Ledgestone has done over the last few years with the VIP areas, USDGC has really adapted into it, the stage at OTB Open, hole number 1. There's so many cool aspects. It's not just, let me follow a card and hopefully watch my favorite player win a tournament. Now it's more of like a festival. It's awesome venues. There's so many things to do that I wish I could go to every single event and watch them in person because it is such a great feeling. So for any of our listeners out in California, I do hope that somehow, some way you are able to attend the Champions Cup. Watching someone get crowned as a major champion in the sport is an awesome feeling. It's something that only happens 4 or 5 times a year, depending on the division and depending on the weird year when we have 5 majors, which doesn't happen anymore. But anyways, Sean's interview was awesome. I thought it was really, really cool to get the insight of just someone running a major. And it's also, I thought it was really cool seeing him in the golf cart still at the course because, you know, the second that he hung up the phone, he's right back at work.
He was right
And,
back yelling at Nicholas.
Exactly. So yeah,
At
when he
first
said
I was
Nicholas,
confused. I'm like, I
know
did
he
I
wasn't
miss
talking
something?
about. No. I know he wasn't talking about me, but he said, "Come on, Nicholas." And
Yeah.
I'm like,
I know.
huh?
Yeah. Plus, he just
we don't
rattled
know
on
each other
Nicholas
well enough
driving
for him to
through
call
Okay,
me Nicholas
Nicholas.
yet.
All right,
So
all right.
that's funny.
That's for family.
That was great. And there's
Family,
like,
close friends.
yeah. And there's obviously like 100 more questions you could ask, but literally, like any of us who have run events, you know, like this is like prime time. He's talking to us Monday afternoon, right? Tuesday, and then practice rounds, and then President's Cup kicks off Wednesday, and then a 4-day major. So yeah, thanks to him for joining, and I'm excited. Earlier I talked about how Worlds is at the top of the pile, and then obviously any other major events are right behind that, and it's like this kicks off the season from a major standpoint.
President's
So, yeah,
Cup,
looking forward to it.
Champions Cup, obviously two very different things, but happening like back to back, right? Wednesday and then Thursday starting.
Yeah.
President's Cup to me it's cool. It has its own place in the history of disc golf. It's something that you like to kind of follow. You don't feel like it's, at least I don't. You don't feel like it's huge. I will say if Europe wins, it would be awesome. Like, as in, like, this has never happened before. I think it's more for the enjoyment of the sport that we all like it. I don't feel like anybody's like literally like this matters. Like, there's this camaraderie feeling to it, right? It's like a camaraderie, country, continent kind of thing.
Yeah. We need to emulate, the President's Cup needs to emulate the Ryder Cup in golf. It's amazing to watch. It's what pro players look forward to. It's one of the best weeks in golf, is what a lot of pro players will say. For some of them, it's their favorite thing to be a part of. Tournament, I don't really know if you call it a tournament, but golf, whatever. It's awesome.
Event.
It's a party. Event. People are, throwing beer everywhere. They're hooping and hollering. Players are pumped up. They're trash talking. They're almost getting into fights afterwards. Like, watch the episodes of Full Swing that really have to do with the Ryder Cup, and you'll show just the intensity that brings. Not saying I need, Simon Lizotte to be trying to fight Paul Macbeth after their round, but at the same time, maybe it happens, but just kidding.
So,
don't want that to happen.
I was just trying to point out back-to-back events, but one has this feeling of like it's fun and enjoyable. It doesn't, to the players, I'm sure they'll be excited, right? If Europe does the upset, right? Like, that's always the storyline to this point. So, like, it's fun, enjoyable, something I will watch and follow, but it doesn't really mean anything to me. I think it's more for the players, okay? Like, they care more than I do as a fan. I just care more about the enjoyment. Now, it comes to Champions Cup. Obviously, the players care more than me, but as a fan, I'm invested way more in who's winning the big major tournaments. And so I'm invested a lot there as well. But with that in mind,
at the very end of the year, we talk about who won the majors and how much it weighs.
Exactly.
How we view the year. So this is the thing.
I don't know why it's glitching out there, but Pop Drop Lock. It's stuttering. Hooligan Disc presents this segment every single time we do it. They ship out prizes to the winners, and man, we are getting a winner every single week, as we should. I think it's awesome to see. For some reason, shout out to Canada. It seems that, and I don't know if it's been true this year, but every year we send Hooligan does multiple prizes to Canada. So our Canadian listening audience is showing us up in Pop Drop Lock. Maybe as a percentage. I'll have to go back and look. But
be awesome.
All right. With that being said, let's get into our picks. So Nick, you got your picks in. Here you go.
I do have my picks, but I don't have my picks in Dropbox. So these are not my real picks. I actually did totally forget about it.
We're going to let you say it on air.
I drove home.
We're going to let you say it on air.
They were put in before the episode on Pop Drop Lock because I remembered to do that. I just totally forgot about Dropbox. And anyways, so my MPO pop is Aaron Gossage. My MPO drop. So Aaron Gossage is averaging 29th right now. If you guys remember, about a year or two ago, he got second place at this tournament. So I'm really hoping for kind of just solid Aaron Gossage play. Evan Smith is averaging 15th right now. He is my MPO drop. Just thinking longer course, golf style, California, might not do as well. And then it's a major championship. Paul Macbeth is my MPO winner for this year's Champions Cup. FPO pop is Kona Star Montgomery, averaging 29th right now. FPO drop is Owen Scoggins, and main reason is just longer course, a little bit of elbow issues. I don't know if it's still going on, maybe wrist issues, just kind of not hoping she does bad, but for the sake of this game, hoping she does bad. And then it's a major championship. I got to go with Kristen Lott is taking it down on the FPO side.
Okay. You and I have a little bit of the similarities here, so let me go ahead and pull.
We do every single week.
Yeah,
I'm feeling good about this week, by the way. I think I'm going to put on it. I'm going to get top 10 this week.
Yes, I love the prediction. Let's see what happens. Top 10 worst scores? No, I'm kidding. Here we go. I also picked popping Aaron Gossage. Similar reasoning, so I don't need to go in deep on that. I don't know if Champions Cup will affect, any part of his mental game. I don't know if mental game is an issue, but anyways, he should do well. Austin Turner. This could be a very wrong pick because this is kind of a pop season for him so far. He's been, doing well. This could just be who he is. But I also feel like he's overperforming a little bit. He played really well in a course that's forehand lefty friendly. Like, I'm not saying that's all he can do, but I'm picking him to drop. We'll see what happens. Calvin Heimberg locking in this event. Has Calvin ever won this event? Because now that Sean had said there was no repeat winners before.
Last year.
Oh, it was last year?
Yeah.
Well, I'm picking Calvin Heimberg. This will be the first time historically. All right. Popping Paige Pierce. You can see a lot of historical picks here, but it's working out well because Paige is not averaging, she's averaging what she does now.
Yep.
But this is an event that she averaged above last year too. Right. Am I accurate? She won last year? This was her event she won. So anyways, pretty sure. If not, she's going to do well.
She didn't win it last year.
The year before?
Probably. Ella
Okay.
Hansen won last year.
Okay. And then you guys might be confused to see drop and lock. This was a strategy that I said.
Yeah, it's a strategy. Yeah.
It's a strategy and it's an interesting one. It could be kind of like a wimp move, if you will, but it's not a risk move because if she doesn't win, so I have Kristen Lott as my drop and my lock. If she doesn't win, because right now she's averaging like 1 point something. So right now the average is 1. So if she doesn't win, you get at least a point. If she gets second, you get a point. So that's not a lot of points, but you don't get a large swing anyway. Lock, if she wins, you get 25. If she doesn't, you get whatever, 10, but plus she didn't win, so you'd get some points there. It's a weird little strategy I'm willing to try this week because I could not decide. I had Holland in there a little bit and Kristen right now, but we're going to run out of these picks. All right, let's see if Ben, I don't know. We're going to take whatever Ben has in here, right? That's the rule. So let's see. Did he get it in while he's on the road? I feel like
no, those are new
these are
names,
different,
I
right?
think.
Yeah, we're all quiet reading them to see if
He
they're
has
different.
D1 athlete in there, so
Is that what he wrote?
It's like hidden under the pot, but yeah.
Nice.
So he picks Cal Lundqvist to pop, Austin Turner to drop. See, him and me, man, same wavelength on that one. Gannon Bird to lock. He's gonna run out. I think he's done that like 4 weeks in a row.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Taylor, yeah, get him out of the way. Popping for FPO, Taylor Chosick. I have to figure out how she says that. Dropping Cat Merch. Ooh, he did it. I was debating on that. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I feel like that's a player who's actually playing her skill level consistently now. Like she's not, we'll see. And then Kristen Lott to lock. So we both have her. All right. Well, there you go. Josh, you're up.
yeah. So Gavin Rathbun to pop. I mean, he's 41st, and he came in 5th at KC Wide Open, and listen, he finished 2nd last year at this course.
Oh
so,
man,
I don't know. That could be a big bump. Sullivan Tipton. I mean, he's playing just fine, but just I don't know. A big. Like lots of competition, right? And he's still kind of newer out there. And then to lock, I picked Calvin Heimberg with you, Matt. So let's see. He's obviously played well there, and hey, get a major. And then for FPO to pop, Madison Walker. As long as nobody
It's back.
jumps up and catches her disc out of the water, and Cat Merch to drop. And then Ella Hansen to repeat win. So I picked both of the winners from last year. Is that creative or not? I don't know. Anyway, so that's what we got. And I mean, I failed so miserably last week. It's like embarrassing. So I'm just hoping for some redemption.
we can have an off week. I think we can have.
Yeah,
an
it was
off week.
really off. Like I was like neck and neck with you, and now I'm like 160 points behind. Anyway, so that's it. So I mean, like, look, I will be excited to look at the scores refreshing after each round. But I'm just excited to watch Champions Cup.
Hell yeah.
Four round event too, right? Like obviously I've got a job and all that, but and because West Coast, for those of us on the East Coast, like I think the men, the MPO will tee off at like 6 p.m. every day. Not tee off, but I mean coverage, live coverage.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
So
a good
like
point.
it's just different. So like FPO tees off at 3 p.m. Eastern, and MPO tees off at 6 p.m. Eastern. So like, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, you get the MPO wrapping up, early evenings for the FPO. So it's just going to be different, interesting dynamic.
I'm excited for it.
So
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I started off the top of the show, so here we're at the bottom of the show. I started at the top of the show. Oh, we got to go back to a different scene. Here we go. TitanDiscGolf.com. So I have
Did
the
you find
official.
it?
I have the official. So Nick, you want a disc? You want a $35 gift? Or I have to be very clear. I still don't know the exact number here, but it's going to be a buy one get one. So
I like it.
isn't that great? So type on your little keyboard, Titan Disc
Did
Golf.
you get confirmation?
I'm looking right now. Yeah, he said it's live right now.
I
So-
scrolled through 54 pages of inventory during tonight's show.
Well, it's up there, everybody. So
I believe it.
TitanDiscGolf.com. Nick, you got to find a disc. This is going to be wild if anybody finds it. A disc with Staggered Stance logo as the product image. Like the product image is going to either have it like overlaid or like it will be the product image. So just look for our logo. And when you find it, purchase it. And you're like, what? It's like, why am I purchasing? If you purchase it, they're going to send you a gift card equal to or more than that value to get whatever you want. So it's like a buy one, get one, or better actually. So do that. And when you check out, make sure you put your email in so that they can send you the gift card.
I'm assuming it's not going to be on page 1.
Yeah,
so
I
we're
know,
going
but then,
right
like-
to 52.
Hey,
But
to
there's
be
a
clear, I
view
went through
all though. Like
54.
Innova Tour Series, I'm all the way down, but then you have to hit view all to go into that.
No, I went to the. I'm not going to tell my tricks to everybody.
Don't
but
tell
I
your
went
tricks.
to the all products, which is like over 2,500 products, and then we know they've got like
35,000
variations on each of
discs.
those. Right. And I went through 54 pages during the show tonight. So.
And
found
while
it
you were
yet.
doing the interview.
Yeah. Well, I did. No, I focused on the interview, but
Okay.
anyway.
So it is live, though.
It's live. So
I
when
hope
I just
someone really finds it, and like obviously you need to buy it with your email address, all that. Yes, but like if you also do, like clearly I want to know on the show. I mean, I'm sure Titan Disc Golf will tell us, but like comment on social media, hit up one of our
Yeah,
reels
if
or
you
posts
find
and,
it.
like tell us because like I want to know because it's like from our show and I'm not going to buy it
Josh.
because it's like part of our deal, but I want to find it.
the reason you didn't find it is because it went live about 5 minutes ago.
Oh, I
So
wasted
the beginning
all
of
my
the
time.
show, people who tried gave up. You got to try again. But here's the other cool part. And I don't want to oversell this because like this is something new we're trying, but there's likely that every day one would get posted if the previous one didn't get purchased, right? So like if you purchase it, another one goes up
Yeah.
the whole week.
All right.
So you should be able to find it. All I'm saying is every listener that we have, so 1,000 or whatever, 2,000 or 5, whatever we get this week in this episode, go scroll through TitanDiscGolf.com. When you find it, buy it quickly. They'll send you a gift card. Last time we talked, it was somewhere in the range of like, again, I should know this, but it was like $35 because it was going to be like disc value plus shipping or something. So it's a buy one, get one. You wait to find out what it is, but just purchase it. And let us know, even though they're going to take care of it, let us know. It'd be fun for us too. And maybe I'll find it first.
Yeah.
Now we're all literally just looking
Oh,
at
I'm
our
looking.
We're
computer
literally,
screens.
yeah.
I'm
If you're
100%
on
looking.
YouTube,
We're
all of
like-
our eyes are distracted.
Yep.
The show's
We're
clearly
like,
over
is this
tonight.
the end of the show?
It is. I'm going to be distracted looking at the same. Just kidding. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
TitanDiscGolf.com.
Yeah, thank you, Titan Disc Golf, for doing that. Definitely check out TitanDiscGolf.com and also Hooligan Disc for presenting the Pop Drop Lock, which it's a major. Get you and your friends to play Pop Drop Lock. You can star them, you can favorite them, create your own little league with your friends, and see who is going to come out on top this week at the Champions Cup. Go Team USA for the President's Cup. Always rooting for them, but rooting for a good time and a good battle between them and Team Europe. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Check us out on all your favorite podcast platforms. Go out, play some disc golf this week. Go out, tell someone you love them. We'll catch you guys all in the next one.
I'm totally distracted right now. I'm finding this
Going right back
disc.
to it.
So yeah, thank you everybody. We are going to enjoy watching along Champions Cup and everything else that you guys are doing with disc golf this week. We appreciate all of you for checking in, listening all the time. We got a lot of fans out there, but by fans I mean friends. We see you out there. You let us know. We appreciate it. Ben's going to make it safe to wherever he's going. I think he's got why am I brain freezing? The Elon Musk satellite internet. Starlink. Thank you. He's got that. He's going to be joining the show per usual. But this was a big push for him to get out there. So cool. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you. See you out there. Peace out, everybody.
See ya. Have a good night.